Back to Upside DIY. So here's a couple of shoe boxes. Good thing I found these. So I've been trying to sort out my gems, and basically this shoe box is going to be pretty nice. I think I could also add other little small boxes, but I think I'm, you know, just to kind of make things a little bit interesting. And also having these, it could be double. I could find the identical, color and all this stuff, size and facets and things, and it could be a double piece. Real ones, which would be like just, pretty much like rocks. Rocks, actually, the gem detector actually get a rocks right there, and but these showed up as a 1 bar for most of them. But you know, this one right here, the cuts and the facets, it shows up a lot, but it's just a really bad, the facets basically, but it shows up as a 7, and the last parcel. Let's see, show off again. It warming up. This is pretty much going to be a video on this one. And the thing is, my USB cable is just really short. Dump this stuff into here. I really like the large pieces just because they stick out. So there's a bunch of nice large ones, and I've been putting some of my nicer ones, I think, inside of 10, or and I'll just kind of show you guys some of the large ones since I've been showing off a bunch. So even these slivers are starting to look pretty good, even though I mean, it's better than a few things. So a bunch of the small ones, I think I sorted out a lot of these, with pricing and display situation. That's where I'm kind of at a few things. I'm just not as effective in the long haul of. So yeah, these large ones are really interesting. They look nice basically. So I'm gonna put this tray of stuff here. Maybe I'll detect a real gem. So I pretty much have a tripod, and this tray, the tripod actually tries to sit in there. It's kind of a big tripod. Alright, so let's tip these all to one side, hopefully. And yeah, I mean, probably these probably zoom out a little bit. It'll be more comfortable. So have some footage of that. This and that. Hopefully, like, I'll figure out some type of material. Here's a clear, like a honeycomb. I really like that. Like lenses. I can turn these into flashlights and lenses. Just some random projects basically is what I've been, making sense of. And basically, you know, even, spaceships and all this stuff. There's all types of stuff for, basic, things with, like, there's a heart and there's a and stuff, and that's a lot of big pieces that I've been keeping kind of like right here. I'm going to have to, I guess I got lazy. All right, so I got a bunch of 1-inch empties. I've got the oil, and I'm actually just going to pray. And I got some larger ones for these, and it's going to basically have to be separated and stuff. I put one squirt of oil. Now let's put another, and basically I got these baggies kind of ready, I think, and I'm gonna just a bunch of mediums left. The only thing I could, ramble about, I used up quite a few, is the is whoever making these. It's just they just basically like worked with whatever resources they have. They probably had glass and recyclables and just a basic knowledge of things and you know rather you know or it was just in the process and they just made a pretty nice hobby and craft kit for just a few um you know keep working on a few things with with the amount of stuff uh kind of working actually with the good stuff. This is kind of like the last parts to finish up a few of these other pieces, and then I'm going to be separating. I should have brought in my good tweezers, and then I'm going to be using practically this tray right here to separate. So that shouldn't take that much, and then I'll put certain shapes and sizes into 1-inch baggies basically, and then I'll have these larger bags left over for other things. So I'm almost finished basically with sorting these things out. I just need to open up a bunch of these smaller baggies to pretty much have a video. I think I've got a new case that's gonna work pretty nicely. The top opens and then there's a nice big compartment underneath. So I could use this basically, but all these, I don't have the few of these, just the main ones I like, or I could use this to help sort out the main colors, I would say, for some of these. So really nice, I think. If I had better compartments, this would be the ideal setup or situation. Stone isn't a teardrop, but from the light that I have, these almost match. So I've got this, and then now I've got items to kind of sort out. I could use this tote for just large or just a lot of stuff, but basically all this stuff to kind of just have things sorted neatly. So yeah, now I just up and have all these pieces. I'm going to try to use this light a little bit, and I'm trying to handle these with tweezers. So I've got a few other items that are, two of them are chipped, but so I've got pretty much 3 different sizes. I could actually keep these up here. Do these. Alright, so I've got some diamonds, some triangles, rectangles. This sphere actually looks like I can see all the brilliant cuts, some leaf like, and then now I've got to pretty much have a pear size, so I'm just kind of eliminating a few. I see a square and, and probably an oval. So I got 2 more different sizes, but alright, you two, so I got pretty much 12 different sizes, and some of these are bad, or lost track of one that was pretty much a bad one, so I kind of try to put them to the side, I think. And then now yeah, these are all the clear ones, and I think I miscategorized one. could have just left this here. It's more of a light blue, but it's quite it's pretty clear or whatnot. I've got this small some of these I used like a larger bag, so I'm gonna be reusing. So just the red ones for the most part. If I have any red starter, I would say. So these are all green, mostly green. These are basically the red gemstones, and I'll just kind of separate a few here and there. A few greens, and maybe even a yellow and stuff. Green heart. So I could really use these tweezers for the most part. So some of these are just for something else, but I see a bunch of round ones. This one's chipped. So to the defective pile for a minute, for a while, and then yeah, and another chip. And there's a few like special. I've seen rubies like that cost like $80, or the ceramic type of ruby. Red, or the rubies. Got one small heart and a few of these diamond, and then one of these was a bead. So trying to keep notes. And then I just got a bunch more over here, medium size. It's going to be the last time I use it in this configuration, even though it seems quite effective. It really bothers my head area lamp. I'm not gonna try to use that a lot, basically. Things like that. I'm probably gonna have to change out the batteries on my other headlamp, and it'll be just as good and more comfortable, I would say. So yeah, maybe sometimes, well, it seems harder to kind of see with certain yeah, there's, for a minute, and probably just put those up and have those as starters, and I should be pretty good. All right, so yeah, I got a few good ones. Then a square, and then a few diamonds, a heart, and a few circles. These last other ones, yeah, probably two. I could probably put all of them into the same. So kind of awkward, but I've got a small pair in this. I don't even know the real color of this. It looks like pomegranate, more pomegranate. It's not really red or something. A few different pieces, kind of like in the small treasure chest situation, and the better I could kind of match things up. I think these were the green and the red kind of look the same under some lights, but this is starting to look like pomegranate or more red, and I already determined some of that stuff out. And then just kind of trying to match up a few just in case. This is clear, pink, rose type. The more I kind of look at it, and it starts to, have a decent effect on just how they're sized and how it's sized, and it can go with some of these. One, it's kind of tough with the smokes just because they're starting to accumulate a little too much, and I could actually spot or see a few of them. Blue, turquoise. Some of these start to look different, like my eyes and things. It may be more clear, maybe more, this one, but it's a really dark green. I'm saying dark green. So I'm almost at the very last. This is actually black, light green.